They tried to bury her. They mocked her retirement. They said she'd never speak up about wrestling again. And now, AJ Lee just dropped a bombshell that's making WWE executives sweat, while Nia Jax's latest disaster proves exactly why this company is spiraling out of control. You think you know what happened? You don't. Not even close. Let me ask you something. When was the last time WWE actually listened to its fans? When was the last time they didn't treat their performers like disposable action figures? AJ Lee's revelation isn't just news, it's a nuclear weapon aimed directly at the heart of everything wrong with professional wrestling today. And while we're celebrating her moment, Nia Jax just gave us another reason why some people should never have been pushed to the top in the first place. Here's what nobody's talking about. AJ Lee, one of the most talented women to ever step inside that ring, disappeared. Vanished. And for years, we got the corporate-approved story about why she left. She wanted to focus on other things. She retired on her own terms. Absolute garbage. The woman who revolutionized women's wrestling before it was cool, who carried entire storylines on her back, who made you believe every single word she said on that microphone, she was silenced. And now she's finally breaking that silence with news that should have every wrestling fan paying attention. AJ just announced she's expecting. Congratulations to her and CM Punk, right? Beautiful news. But here's where it gets interesting, and here's where your blood should start boiling. The timing of this announcement, combined with what she's been saying about her WWE exit, paints a picture that's absolutely damning. This isn't just about a wrestler starting a family. This is about a woman who was pushed out of an industry that chewed her up, spat her out, and then pretended like they valued women's wrestling all along. Think about it. AJ Lee was main eventing shows when the Bella Twins were still getting 3-minute matches. She was cutting promos that made grown men look like amateurs. She held the Divas Championship longer than anyone in history at that time. And what did WWE do? They let her walk away, barely acknowledged her contributions, and then acted like the women's revolution started without her. The disrespect is astronomical. But let's connect this to the chaos happening right now in WWE. While AJ's out here living her best life and starting a family, proving that there's life after WWE and you don't need that company to validate your existence, we've got Nia Jax in the ring botching pins and nearly ending careers on a weekly basis. You see the contrast here? One woman who could actually work, who understood the business, who made everyone around her better, forced out. Another woman who's been handed opportunity after opportunity despite a track record that would have gotten anyone else fired years ago, still employed and being pushed. The Nia Jax situation is a perfect microcosm of everything wrong with WWE's women's division and the company as a whole. That botched pin? It's not an isolated incident. It's a pattern. It's a symptom of a much larger disease. When you prioritize look over talent, when you push people based on who they're related to rather than what they can do, when you ignore the safety concerns of your entire roster just to make one person look strong, you get disasters like this. And here's the twist nobody saw coming. Reports are now emerging that multiple women in the locker room have filed complaints about working with Nia. Not whispers. Not rumors. Actual documented complaints. But does WWE care? Of course not. Because admitting they were wrong means admitting that the talent they've pushed for years, the person they've given title reigns and WrestleMania moments to, shouldn't have been there in the first place. That's bad for business. That's bad PR. So instead, they'll keep throwing her out there, keep putting other wrestlers at risk, and keep hoping that nobody gets seriously hurt. Meanwhile, AJ Lee's announcement should be a celebration throughout the wrestling world, but instead it's a reminder of how WWE treats women who don't fit their mold. AJ was too small, they said. She wasn't marketable enough, they claimed. She didn't have the look they wanted. And yet, she moved more merchandise than half the roster. She got bigger reactions than most of the men. She proved that talent and charisma trump everything else. But that didn't matter to WWE brass. The company has a history of this. They push who they want to push, regardless of fan response, regardless of safety, regardless of common sense. And when someone like AJ Lee comes along who succeeds despite not being their chosen one, they don't know what to do with them. They can't control the narrative. They can't take credit for organic success. So they let it fade away and rewrite history. Now let's talk about what this means for the current landscape. AJ's happiness outside of WWE is a direct indictment of the company's culture. She's thriving. She's writing books. She's doing activism work. She's starting a family with the man she loves. And she did all of this after leaving a company that many wrestlers say they can never escape from. That's powerful. That's a statement. Compare that to what we're seeing now. Wrestlers are more vocal than ever about unsafe working conditions. We've got talents being rushed back from injuries because WWE needs content. We've got performers working hurt because they're afraid of losing their spot. We've got a locker room that's reportedly divided over whether certain people should even be allowed to compete. And at the center of much of this controversy? The same person who just botched another pin. The Nia Jax situation has taken multiple twists, and none of them are good. First, we had the initial botch that everyone saw. Then we had the excuse making. Then we had the social media damage control. Now we're hearing about behind-the-scenes heat that's apparently been brewing for months, if not years. And WWE's response? Silence. Deflection. Business as usual. This is the same company that supposedly learned from past mistakes. The same company that claims to prioritize wrestler safety. The same company that talks about wellness and support systems. But when it actually comes time to make hard decisions, to protect their roster, to do the right thing, they fold. Every single time. AJ Lee got out before it broke her completely. She saw the writing on the wall. She understood that her health, both mental and physical, was more important than another title reign or another WrestleMania moment. And now she's being rewarded with genuine happiness. That's the real story here. That's what WWE doesn't want you to focus on. Because if more wrestlers realize they can have fulfilling lives outside of that toxic environment, the whole system collapses. The congratulations to AJ should come with an asterisk of acknowledgement. Yes, we're happy for her. Yes, this is wonderful news. But we also need to recognize that her journey to this point was made harder than it needed to be by a company that never truly appreciated what they had. A company that's now dealing with the consequences of their poor decision-making in real time. Every time Nia Jax steps in that ring, there's a collective holding of breath from everyone watching. Will someone get hurt tonight? Will this be the incident that finally forces WWE's hand? How many more botches, how many more near misses, how many more complaints before something changes? The fact that we have to ask these questions in a professional wrestling company is absurd. And let's be clear about something. This isn't about personal attacks. This is about pattern recognition. This is about safety. This is about the future of women's wrestling. When you have someone in a prominent position who repeatedly puts others at risk, who doesn't seem to improve despite years of chances, who generates more backstage heat than fan interest, that's a problem that needs addressing. AJ Lee never had these issues. She worked stiff when she needed to, she kept people safe, she made her opponents look like stars. That's what a true professional does. That's what someone who loves this business does. And she was rewarded by being phased out and forgotten until it became convenient to remember her contributions. The WWE Women's Division could have been built on the foundation AJ helped create. Instead, they pretended she never existed and started from scratch, giving credit to people who came after her. Now they're dealing with a division that's talented but chaotic, where half the roster is worried about getting injured by the other half, where politics and favoritism still determine who gets pushed over actual ability. This is why AJ's news matters beyond the personal joy it brings. It's a reminder that wrestling isn't everything, that there's life after WWE. That success doesn't have to be defined by title reigns and main events. She's proven that you can walk away, be happy, and never look back. That's terrifying for a company that relies on controlling its talent's perception of their own worth. The Nia Jax situation continues to be a black eye for WWE because it represents their inability to make tough calls. They'd rather risk someone's career, risk a lawsuit, risk the credibility of their entire women's division than admit they made a mistake in who they chose to push. That's not leadership. That's cowardice. So here we are. AJ Lee is winning at life while WWE continues to fumble the bag with their current roster. The contrast couldn't be more stark. One woman who understood the assignment and executed it flawlessly, now thriving outside the system. Another woman who's been handed everything and continues to prove she's not ready for it, yet still being pushed. This is your modern WWE. This is what we're supposed to accept as normal. But fans aren't stupid. We see what's happening. We see the double standards. We see the favoritism. We see the safety concerns being ignored, and we're tired of it. AJ Lee's revelation and continued success outside WWE is proof that their way isn't the only way, that their validation isn't necessary, that life goes on, and sometimes it goes on better, without them. Congratulations to AJ and Punk. They deserve all the happiness in the world. And maybe, just maybe, their story will inspire other wrestlers to realize their worth isn't tied to what WWE thinks of them. As for Nia Jax and these continued botches, WWE needs to make a decision before someone gets seriously hurt, because the next twist in this story might not be one anyone can walk away from.